Christmas might be over, but that does not mean that we need to stop with the gifts. The awesome developers of Prehistoric Kingdom have given me the opportunity to give 5 of you Prehistoric Kingdom for free. Critivo has given me 5 Steam keys that I can give to 5 of you. Once the information from these Steam keys are entered, you will be granted Prehistoric Kingdom and all of its content again for free, which is absolutely awesome. Now, how does one get the chance to win a Steam key, you might be asking? Well, good question. In order to win, all you have to do is go to my TikTok or my Instagram page and send me a message describing what your favorite dinosaur is and why it's your favorite. After a 24-hour period, I will be choosing 5 winners, and then I will be sending the code to those individuals. But again, this is only after 24 hours. After that point, then of course, no one else will be considered. You know, it's only a day type thing. So good luck to everyone, and I look forward to reading everything that you have to say. Also, thank you, Critivo, for giving me the opportunity to do this. Now let's get right into the video. Alrighty, so we are back at it again with a voiceover over a video that I already recorded. Of course, we're making a Megalosaurus enclosure. I did things a little bit differently this time. I kind of like outlined the shape with some sand because I've seen some like really good builders do that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll try that. So then we're placing down the actual enclosure. In large part, this enclosure is going to be based off of a like a real world moose exhibit that exists in a zoo that is pretty near me. I feel like that's kind of fitting given what Megalosaurus is, which is a massive deer. So I wanted to do things a bit differently as well. I wanted to like have some elevation in the overall land. So I kind of like started flattening the land up here, made it a little bit lower towards the front here, which is where the guests will be viewing. And here is where I was really exiting my comfort zone. I decided to try out some modular building. I made my own little things. Don't even know what to call these. But my idea for these was to have them be like extra support for this hill, I suppose. I wanted to like, I don't know, I wanted to make it look like we had a lot more control over this environment to make sure things were, you know, where they needed to be for this enclosure. So I added like some extra support for this hill so that things maybe don't collapse in or something like that. I don't know the exact logic, but I think it looks kind of cool. And then I made some little areas where the Megalosaurus will be able to walk down, and I decided to add like some dirt or some substrate, I can't remember what I added, to make it look like it's like an area that is frequently traveled, like how you will often see in zoos, or if you have a dog, you'll know exactly which points in the yard your dog loves to walk around. Down here, I kind of wanted it all to look like the mammoth steppe, which, you know, that's the environment that Megalosaurus partially lived in alongside the mammoth, which is kind of like this large prairie filled with a lot of vegetation. I figured it'd be kind of cool to have that mixed in with everything else. This pathway over here kind of leads over to another portion of the enclosure with trees on both sides. The trees on both sides, I kind of wanted to make them like a repellent for at least the male Megalosaurus, because they have huge antlers. They're probably a little bit hesitant to try to walk through the trees because, you know, they can get it caught on branches and stuff. So it kind of keeps them away from the fences where, you know, these are fences that are not as monitored. And then over here, I wanted to make a lake. This is where the inspiration from the real-life moose enclosure comes from. It's like a decently large enclosure that has like a flat area, relatively flat on one side, then it leads into a small pond. Here, I kind of made more of a lake, or a bigger pond, I guess, which it kind of looks ugly right now, but don't worry, I'll fix it in a minute. But I figured it would kind of look cool and give like a little bit of a difference to the overall terrain. Just kind of trying to figure everything out. I'm still bad at building, but I am getting better. Right here, I'm kind of placing in some rocks, making it look like it's some cliffs, which is one of my favorite things to do. I almost always do this whenever I'm making a body of water like this. And of course, kind of just rounding it out so you don't have like those weird looking textures just jutting out, you know. Added some substrate to make it look like an environment that is kind of like surrounding a lake. And of course, added some rocks. I feel like rocks are pretty important for making an enclosure or, you know, a body of water come to life. There's almost always a lot of rocks around these sort of things. You know, if you ever go to a lake or something. And then here's another thing I decided to dabble with. Those smaller kind of like scattered rocks, I placed a lot of them down here in a kind of group. You know, I wanted to group them up essentially. Like I placed a lot of them here. And then here I grouped them up, and then I wanted to spread them out because, again, if you like go to a lake or a pond or something, there's a lot of small rocks just littered everywhere, littered all over the place. That's something I wanted to try to pull off here Whether or not I did, I'll leave it up to you guys, but I kind of like the way that it turns out in the end. And I just kind of have them scattered all over the place, different areas. Still think it looks really cool. Right now it's a little bit barren though, so I decided to add some extra foliage, really livened it up and make it look less rocky. Decided to have some grow like in between these rocks, which is just something that I think looks really cool. And seeing all of this vegetation surrounding a body of water is something that I always think is very appealing to look at. So, it's something I had to do, and I had it a little bit more spread out, made it look like it was a bit of a diverse environment, which I kind of lost that whole controlled theme because I started to try to make it look like an actual lake you can stumble across. But I don't know, I still think it looks really cool. Just added some more foliage all over the place, make the hill look less devastating, and of course added some shelter. This is something I always add because it's something that really grounds it as like a park. I always put shelters just in case the trees, like the shade from the trees, aren't quite doing it for the Megaloceros, so they just have somewhere to retreat to. Added some more brush just to kind of make it like give everything a little bit extra depth, I suppose, kind of hide some of the imperfections in that little thing. This right here is inspired from that real life moose exhibit. They have like a little barn essentially that they can put the moose in to take care of it. And a very important thing, I mean, I place a cave bear outside, but on the outside of this building, they have like the moose, its previously shed antlers, like kind of hung up to, show everybody. Those antlers Megaloceros antlers don't exist in the game, so I just put a mammoth skull. Close enough, I suppose, but it'd be cool if I'm sure I could probably build Megaloceros antlers, but I don't know how, and I'm too scared to try, and I don't know. So we just have a mammoth skull, and then all that's left is to do the pathways, and then just fill in some vegetation, and of course place down our beautiful Megaloceros, 3 males and 3 females. Got a whole herd of them in here, and all around, they seem pretty happy. Look at this one. It's even using the little ramp that I made. So, again, we got some control. This is kind of what it looks like when you're looking through. You'd either be really lucky to see one or really unlucky. So, yeah, very beautiful if you ask me. I mean, they were just so happy that I couldn't even keep up. I forgot to record sound right here, so there's that. But we got some cool shots of them just like running around, enjoying life. A very interesting cinematic shot right there. And they do look really cool in this environment. Like I like that shot in particular. It looks like a real deer, just kind of like hanging out. I like how it kind of looked like it jumped down that hill right there. These reckless deer, break your ankle. But yeah, I absolutely adore this model. I think that they did such a fantastic job with it. I've been really obsessed with Megaloceros lately, so this was definitely a lot of fun to make. But yeah, be sure to let me know what you guys think. And of course, be sure to, message me on Instagram and TikTok.